The Proper Football Live Show, Sundays at 6 p.m. for your football fix on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and PF Radio. Check out our website at properfootball.co.uk.
Right, good afternoon everyone, happy Easter to you all. Welcome to another edition of Proper Football Live with me, Dan. And we've got a new guest on today, Paul Smith from Clobber magazine. Hello Paul, how you doing?
Not bad, Dan, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good mate. Happy Easter to you.
Yeah, happy Easter likewise.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nigel Callahan can't get on tonight. His internet's blown up, so he can't get on. Unfortunately, Gary's going to bed early because he's got to go to Belfast in the morning.
I believe so.
And I'm not sure what Greg is up to, so it's just me and you tonight. So
no worries.
No, great to have you on, mate. So Paul, we're going to talk a load of football and stuff, and there's been some great games today and over the weekend. But first, a bit about yourself, mate. You've got an online magazine called Clobber magazine.
Yeah, I remember doing some stuff with Gary a few years ago on the radio. So Clobber magazine was essentially an online magazine blog, basically all about casual culture, or the clothing of casual culture, the history of the casual scene in terms of clothing and clobber, and basically just my opinion on what comes along, what's good, what's not, what I sort of feel about the scene and things like that. I've had some contributors over the years and people who've got involved and done a few bits, but it's essentially pretty much just me. And I've always liked to sort of keep it real, if you like. I'm not someone who chases the social media thing. You know, I've got about 2,500 on the Clobber page on Facebook. Instagram, next to nothing, 500 and odd. I'm not one of these people who likes to be photographed with fenners off Soccer AM or chasing Gary Aston for a photo or people like that. You know what I mean? It's not my thing. I think I remember saying to Gary a couple of years ago, I think if you put out good content, you'll find the right people and they'll find you. And I've met some like amazing people that are involved in all kinds of projects, brands and books and that type of thing. So yeah, that's essentially me, really.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, so I've got done a little picture. I don't know if you can see it. Is it coming up? There we go, Clobber magazine. So if you want to check out Paul's website, that's the right one, Paul, isn't it? www.clobbermag.com. Also, we've got an interview on our website, Paul, haven't we?
Yeah.
You were one of the first guys to do it.
That's right. So I noticed Del Cleveland's been on there and Rue Oxley as well. And Rue Oxley's got a book coming in sometime in the next year, which is all about casual clobber, and I think it's more reflects on where it is now, where the scene is now, the football casual scene. So I've made some contributions to that as well. And I'm really pleased because some respected faces are in that. Jay Montessori, people like that. So it's good to be involved in something that will sort of live on beyond sort of my online presence, I'd imagine. So Oliver Beer, quite a few good people, and I think Del Cleveland's done a contribution. That's also quite well-known faces, and then obviously people like Fenners and others. So I'm really excited about that. And
she's like Rue, she's on Instagram, and then you some people got a different opinion, like because the picture she puts and all that, but she knows what she's talking about, and I'm really interested to see her book as well. You get the typical sexist comments come up, but a lot of people, I think it was Section 6 they were saying like it's great what she's done. Well, in her interview anyway. It just shows she's just not a pretty face. She actually knows what she's talking about. She's
I mean, she's in terms of like her skills as a writer, I've seen her blogs a few times in other places anyway. Someone who's university educated, done dissertations and all that. And Stoke City fan, born and bred. I mean, you know, I love Stoke as a club, to be honest. They're a good set of lads and fans, good honest clubbing. You know, if you go up to Stoke for a game, you know what you're going to get, don't you? And you know, you've got to respect that. And I think when I was approached by her, she said she was doing this book. It was literally just like in an interview format and to give some opinions. And then as a contributor, we all got to see the transcript that's gone off to the publishers. And I think, I can't give anything away in it, but I think people are going to be really surprised. It's not your normal sort of casual book.
No.
It's really well done in the way she's put it together in the format of it all. And I think it's really different, actually, and quite innovative. So I know she does like that glamour work, if you like, on Instagram and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know what makes up the mainstay of her career, what she does for a daytime. I don't know. I've never met her. I've spoken to her. Again, this is one thing that's great about the internet. I think to end up today talking to someone like yourself, obviously met the likes of Gary Harris. I mean, I've met people all up and down the country. Sometimes I've met them in person, other times I've not. And through the internet, through networking, you know, I've ended up in Stone Island events with Carlo Rivetti and things like that. So you never know where it's going to end, you know what I mean? And
but
I've go back to that Rue Oxley point. Yeah, I think yeah, you do get this like what the women know type of thing, but you only have to see the sort of clothes that she wears anyway. The kind of people who are interested in supporting her platform, 80s casual classics, Neil Primmitt, people like that.
Yeah.
Anyone's got a brand up and coming, they'll put some clothes and stuff her way. So I honestly think it'll be a bit of a head turner, to be honest. And so just to have some small contributions in that, I'm absolutely delighted, to be honest.
No, it's great, and she goes to the game as well, doesn't she? She goes to Stoke every
week
when she can, so she knows her football as well, which is So you're a big Man United fan, aren't you, Paul?
Yeah, but born and bred in Manchester. I live in Liverpool now, funnily enough.
Right.
Met a Scouse girl about 20 years ago, so ended up relocating up here. But funny enough, I grew up near City's old ground at Main Road, so Platt Lane, which is like behind the Platt Lane stand as it was there. I grew up initially just down the road in Hume, and then when I was a young kid moved there. So City never interested me really. When I started becoming aware of football, 81, 82, it was Ron Atkinson. I just took over at United. We signed Brian Robson. We had this great team at the time. Obviously not as good to touch Liverpool, but we were fantastic. We played good football.
Yeah.
We played in red, you know what I mean, which I loved. And my mum, God rest her soul, she told me when I was a kid about George Best, the rebirth from after the Munich disaster. Obviously, all about Busby Babes pre that, and then how 10 years later Busby had built this team to come back and win the Euro. I was just hooked on it, and then my dad took me to think about.
Yeah. Great story, isn't it, beyond Man United? Is it?
Oh, it's beyond belief, and that's what made Man United, is the mystique that comes around it. I think I went to with my dad in Stretford Paddock when it was about 1983, first game, and I was just like hooked from there on. Football's changed too much for me now, and it's not what it was. I
think we were all of the same opinion of that. I mean, today some great games, and you were just watching the Liverpool, Arsenal. I mean, who did you want to? Obviously, you don't want Man City to win the title, do you? But then you didn't want Liverpool to beat.
I mean, this last couple of years, Dan, it's been like Gary Neville said, it's like, who do you want to sleep with, your wife? We're having Liverpool and City duke it out. And for me, I was more happy for City to win them titles because obviously Liverpool and United have got the most league titles. This season with Liverpool being off it, and then I didn't want City to go and win another one. And to be fair, watching Arsenal this season, I think they've been absolutely fantastic, playing great football.
It'd be brilliant. I mean, today a point. I know they was 2-0 up, so they probably got it. But to get a point at Liverpool, they didn't lose. So it's a 6-point gap. The goal difference. I mean, they've got to play City yet. So if City wins that, Man City win their game in hand, then it's equal points and it's down to goal difference. So it's a few. I mean, there's plenty of games left to go, isn't there? 8 games, I think.
Yeah, there is, and I think it's that nagging thing that City's experience and stuff. If they get a sniff that they can go on that, take those 10 games and win them all. But I think what Arsenal have done, they've done it in the right way. The way the squad's been put together. Yeah, they've spent money, but it's been spent without any sort of question of where it's come from, or the financial fair play or anything like that. I mean, I did not believe Arteta could put a team like that together, especially this season. Anyway, you watch the way they play; they're energetic, they're brave, they play brilliant football. I've been stunned watching them. I kept thinking 2 months ago they'll fall away.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, I never thought I'd say this after the Wenger period when he used to go toe to toe with United, but I think I'd think for football it'd be great if they could win this title this season.
It's just nice that they kept hold of him, because all the fans are very fickle nowadays, and they was all on his back. But I think winning the FA Cup gave him a bit of time in the bank.
Yeah,
but and just shows what happens this season. No one expected it, did they? And I mean, I was going to say to you, I know you're a United fan, and I found a picture. I think I'm a Palace fan myself, and that's why I've probably got a big smile on my face today.
Well, Leeds got walloped today, didn't they? So yeah, that was I didn't get to see the game, so I was doing other things, like watching it. I was, oh my God, I was seeing little bits. So
it was unreal. But first half, we was getting a bit battered, really, and then we got a goal just before half time, and then second half, it was like unbelievable on the break, total football. And I was going to ring up Sky to complain because I thought my internet was playing up, because I looked at the score and it was 5-1, but it wasn't.
I mean, you watched Palace this season, and they played some really good football, and they weren't just putting the ball in the back of the net, were they? And
it's funny. Roy's come back. Everyone was a bit underwhelmed, and the players. I don't think the players were playing for Vieira. Funny enough, something weren't right, but it's people said about giving managers enough time, like Vieira. Obviously, we've lost Potter this week, haven't we? But do you remember this sign at Old Trafford? Fergie's.
Oh, yeah, I remember it well. I remember being in the Stretford, which me and my mates just go to the Stretford Paddock a lot.
Yeah.
It's a shorter queue than the Stretford end. And I remember, when I think we played Derby at home.
I think it was Palace. I think you played us.
Oh, yeah, I know that game. I'm saying, I remember.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Another game we went to, I think we drew with Derby at home. And I was referees shouting Ferguson out, Ferguson out. And at the time, we got to that point, we spent £13 million. That'd be like spending 900 million or something now. And it didn't look like it was going to get any better. And I thought, he's on thin ice. You know what I mean? Then that game come along, didn't it? The Palace get the Notts Forest game, and
Mark Robbins, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mark Robbins. Well, it saved his job. It did, because I think as much as Edwards at the time, Martin Edwards, the chairman, believed in him, the pressure was too much, and then also the rest is kind of history type of thing. And
well, then you beat us in the cup final.
Yeah,
in the replay, sadly.
Remember Bright and White in that first game. I was like, oh my God, it was it was hard to watch. But I think winning that, and then obviously went on the season after, won the European Cup, Winners' Cup, and then they finished second to Leeds, I think, in the last ever Division 1 as it was.
Yeah.
And you started to think, is this ever going to happen? It got to 26 years, and I never saw them win it as a kid. We watched Liverpool dominate, and then and I remember they won that league, and Ferguson said, well, we're gonna win more, and that's the way it's going to be, and we're going to rebuild teams. And I thought it was a bit of bluster on that at the time. I could never believe that. You know, I think at the time we had 7 league titles, and Liverpool had 18. No one thought Liverpool we could get near that. You know what I mean? And lo and behold, we did. So I think the last 7 or 8 years, it has been painful to watch, and the decline of a great club and a great team. And you know, just people don't understand the thing with the owners, and what the owners do very cleverly. They spend money on the team. A lot of it's been spent badly, but where else they've taken that much out of the club. They were able to buy that club, leverage the debt against the club, and basically drain it to prop up their failing businesses. America, they opened all these shopping malls in strange places and things like that. There's like tumbleweed blowing outside, and that's what there's basically milked the club. And they're playing hardball now with the Qataris and with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, because they want 6 or 7 billion for it, and they'll probably get it as well. Yeah,
it's because you're not allowed to buy a club like they did now, are you?
No,
the rules have changed, haven't they?
Well, if you remember at the time before that, it was B Sky B then, wasn't it? And they wanted to buy United, and they would say no, it's a conflict of interest, and in reality, that would have been the lesser of the two evils. But what's happened? It can't just be attributed to them, because they have spent mega amounts of money on poor players.
Badly spent, but wrong managers as well. I mean, Ten Hag seems to be a good.
He is,
but then you had a couple of bad results, and then all the knives are out. The fans swing and change quick as because social media. I don't think you're going to get long-term managers like Wenger and Ferguson. Because back then there weren't the social media with Ferguson in his early days. If there was, he probably would have got the sack in a year or 2 years. He would have.
Without a doubt. I think with Ten Hag, he's come in, and we thought the season, I'd say we're playing for 8th probably in the league. Yeah. And basically we had to start weeding out the players that have let us down so badly. So to have won the League Cup, it's not the greatest trophy in the world, you know what I mean, the Carabao Cup, but to win that, to be fighting for the top 4, and I think he's done an absolutely amazing job, to be fair. And I think there's players there he knows that will keep that throwing of the managers under the bus, and they'll throw him under the bus. And this is why these 7-0 games happen, or Man City happen. So he'll know there's players there. When all the midfielders are injured and Sabitza's not even available to play. So, you know, Casemiro's been suspended, and Ericsson was in. Sabitza couldn't play. You're left with McTominay and Fred, and sorry, they're just not good enough. He's not good enough. United. And I think when the players he's brought in, and particularly Martinez, everyone said he wasn't big enough and so on. He's been a revelation. Casemiro's transformed. Ericsson on a free was brilliant. Even a young kid, last year, has got loads of potential. And then the loan signings he's brought in, it's took a lot of stick for Weghorst, but Weghorst was never going to be a prolific striker. He can really well. He can press from the front. He can work hard. He can drop back a little bit. You know, he can't hit a barn door, it seems. But till the end of the season, I think it's not been too bad at all. And Sabitzer, I quite like him. I think if we could keep hold of him. Yeah.
He's made the right decisions, and he's been a strong character. I think we've got Kelly, Joy. Can you hear us, Kelly?
Yeah.
Hello. Your internet's back, or you're on your phone tonight, aren't you? So.
Yeah.
Kelly, this is Paul. Paul, this is Kelly.
Okay, mate.
Hello, Paul.
We're just going to say good evening to Ben Cliff. Join us, big Stoke City and Kidsgrove fan. He says, fair play to the linesman. I say, when he's okay for players to put their hands on officials. Yeah, did you see him? He elbowed Robertson in the front, didn't he?
Strangest thing. He's done him right in the throat. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, because he's come out, obviously, he's officiated the game as a what do you call it? Assistant does these days. But yeah, that was...
He's a big old lump, that linesman, wasn't he? Did you see it, Nigel?
No.
No, it's just half time as they're coming off. Robertson's gone up to him and sort of touched his arm, and he's just gone bang in his throat.
Because like Robertson, it could be a bit of a pain. Robertson, he's one of these players that when they were playing dead well a couple of seasons ago, you hated him because his aggression and stuff like that. But you could see the shock on his face, and then they said on the TV, he's just gone off down there, and he's said in the tunnel, he's just done me in the throat. So it's like fantastic. So I'd love to see what will happen with that tomorrow. It's a strange one, but great game.
I think there's a lot of issues going about with referees at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like, for me, like, something's got to be done. I mean, they've got to be held responsible just like any other player would if he got things wrong. I mean, the Brighton game against Tottenham was just disgraceful.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't even have to be a referee to see that, did you? I mean, like, he's been paid off.
Yeah, they've admitted they got that wrong. It should have been a penalty. Howard Webb's, but that's the third time this season that the VRA, yes, right. Have got it.
They should be able to get fined now, referees, just like players do if they're out of order. I mean, like before, when there was no VAR, it was the referee's decision. But now you've got VAR, there should be no excuse for bad decisions like that.
No, and they take long enough. I watched Palace today, and I know we're going over old ground with VAR, but they scored a couple of 2 of the 5, but they got a couple, and they didn't celebrate the goal. It was like looking around, waiting for the ref, and we all know it kills a game.
They ain't scored that many goals, Dan, so they don't know how to celebrate.
That's a fair comment. Watching Burnley the other night. I mean, wow, fantastic today, but I think their goal was maybe offside, but it was borderline. No VAR check. They accepted the game.
Who tipped Burnley at the start of the season?
I don't know, Nigel. Do you know? Here he is, Vincent Company.
16-1 you could have got on them at the start of the season.
Amazing. And
really? Is that what that was?
I'll tell you what, I had Man United at 33-1 at the start of the season.
Yeah, that would have been bad actually for a 5 or a 10, I think. But
that's what price they were.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic achievement to go up so early as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, the two times they've played Man United and Man City in the Cup, haven't they, and got pummeled. But I think they'll be all right in the.
If you look at the two teams that are having a blinder this season, Arsenal and Burnley, they're both disciples of Mr. Guardiola, aren't they? So they've obviously learned a lot of him.
Yeah. Do you think he should? Do you think he's going to stay with Burnley? Is he better? Because is he better off now picking up like the Tottenham job?
I don't know. I mean, like he's not playing a style of football that's good. It depends, I suppose, whether he gets backed with some money to buy players. You know, like if you're going up to the Premiership, you've either got to go for it or just accept that you're going back down again. And you get the parachute payment. Yeah,
and then you get the sack, don't they? Some of the managers bring them up, but it's good to see that Forest have stuck with Steve Cooper. Even West Ham, I know those fans won't agree. They stuck with Moyes, didn't they? And they picked up a win yesterday.
They say they're sticking with him. I mean, like if there's another 2 defeats at Forest, I think he'll be gone.
Yeah. I mean, he was saying when he admitted himself that the money maybe wasn't spent that well. Well, you spent it, mate.
I mean, they've spent huge amounts on players this year, Forest, haven't they?
Yeah.
If they go down, they're in financial shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, and Sheffield United are in. They reckon they're in this shit.
Yeah.
Reading have been deducted 6 points. Another team who've come down, and even Burnley have been. There's talk with them having big money struck. If they wouldn't have gone up. So I think it's another point in all. But the parachute payments and the dangle of the carrot of the Premier League does make teams overspend, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But let's have a look at this caption I've got here. It is well, Graham Potter, he went. I don't know. That's probably there's so many managers coming and going. It's all.
I mean, the whole Potter thing was just to me. If you're gonna take on a manager like that, then you have to let his projects run from start to finish. You know, he was going to want to do something like he did at Brighton. If you look at Brighton, the recruitment was unbelievable. The style of football they were playing, they were battling teams like United and Liverpool and things like that. And then he's gone there, and within 2 minutes he's gone. And then now to go back to Lampard, it's just
it's nuts.
You sort of look at teams like Man U and Chelsea and then big clubs. So you know it's not about the football anymore. It's a business.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the reason why he wasn't given time at Chelsea, because that club's there as a business, whereas Brighton are a football club.
Yeah.
They ain't got as much money as it, and they probably allow the fact that they know it's a project, in progress.
But you're right, bang on. And I think you look at he would have been a candidate for Tottenham, because Tottenham keep employing Chelsea's old managers. So Chelsea get these managers in, top elite managers, win a couple of trophies, move them on, keep doing it. Successful way of doing it. But Tottenham ain't like that. They don't spend millions, do they? So I think they'd be better off with a Potter type, someone who come in, coach the players. Their players need coaching. I think Tottenham are looking at the wrong candidates. I think.
Yeah, thing with the managers. Yeah, go on.
Nigel.
I was going to say, the thing with the managers at the moment is like they're in a no-lose situation. They stay in the job for about 12 weeks. If they don't do the business, they get sacked, they get paid off, and then they're on the managerial merry-go-round, and another job comes around for them. So,
I don't feel sorry for them, though. They get millions.
He's gone on holiday, isn't he, Potter? He's gone to the Caribbean or something for a few weeks.
Yeah. Just going to have a couple of good evenings here. Ian Hills, how you doing, mate? Good evening, guys. He said he enjoyed watching both games today. Ben Cliffs, he's saying, welcome to the Man United podcast.
Oh, no, that's... I just realised I just called Caddy Nigel. I don't know where that come from. I just did something else in me. I don't worry about it.
Gavin, I think this is a casual sniper. Hello, Gav. Gav from Pompey watching once again. Pleasure meeting you the other day. Yeah, lovely to meet you, Gav, and hopefully get you on here as well at some point, mate. I don't know if you know the casual sniper. Do you, Paul?
Sorry?
The casual sniper based down in Portsmouth. He buys and...
That's right, yeah.
Casual stuff.
I'm sure I follow him on Insta or something, yeah. But I see him up and about, yeah.
Good evening, Nicky Lewis. Hope you all. Ben Cliff, Neil Warnock, and Roy Hudson are showing old school manager the way forward. Yeah, I mean, I've got a good little clip for Neil Warnock. I'm going to play in the funny old games. Actually, I might play it now. Actually, if I can find it.
Box office, and
he's brilliant. He's sadly he's for Watford, wasn't it? Nice, but I don't know what's happening there. But 3-2, wasn't it? They beat Watford Huddersfield, and they're out of the relegation zone. Here we go. I'll play this little clip of Warnock after the game.
I want to ask you, after a run like this that I think most of us are still scratching our heads about, given how the majority of the season's gone, how does something like this come about? Is it something as simple as belief and confidence?
Well, it's having a good manager, isn't it? Really.
I thought that might be the answer.
He's bang on, isn't he? But he's the man you love to hate. But he was at Palace for a couple of seasons. He was fantastic. Really lovely fella as well. So, but no,
he's passionate, isn't he? He's passionate about the game. He wants to win. He don't like losing.
He knows all the tricks in the book. Yeah. He's. I don't think he's got a good relationship with the. Who's Watford's manager now? The ex-Sheffield United. What's his name?
Is it Billy someone? Billy? No.
So Ben Clifford tell us. But anyway, he don't like Warnock. There's a really rocky relationship there. But I can't think of his name. Right.
I'm hoping to pop up in the comments now.
Let me have a look here. No one's letting us know. Come on, who's a Watford manager? We've got 2 Watford fans watching. Chris Wilder, that's it. That's it, yeah. Him and Warnock don't get on at all. So,
you should have said who's a Watford manager between the period of January and February.
Yeah, I didn't narrow it down there.
That would have made it easier, wouldn't
it? Yeah. But yeah, some great games yesterday as well. Derby back to winning ways, Nige.
Yeah, I mean, they should be beating sides like that, but they've made it hard for themselves. They've got to string a few games together now, a few wins in a row, and secure that playoff place. But yeah, the teams we thought would be up there are up there, aren't they?
Yeah, Sheffield United a bit of a meltdown, didn't they? They haven't won for about 5 or 6 games.
Sheffield Wednesday, Barnsley are the ones. I think they could. I don't think they'll catch Ipswich, but you know they're thereabouts, aren't they?
Yeah. Although I think did they lose yesterday at all? I think I'm not sure. Could possibly have done, but I wouldn't meant to say at the start of the show. I went to a non-league game yesterday. Went down to see Horsham play against Enfield Town.
Oh yeah,
fantastic day. 1,100 people there. Always you can have a beer, and that's why I'm drinking Coke today.
I knew there was a reason why you went there.
But no, fantastic day. I've done a little podcast. You'll see that. I'll pop it up tomorrow at some time. A little vlog I've done. But I just want to say thanks from down there. Made us really welcome. Great little club there. Right, let's have a look at some comments here. Let's scroll down. What's this one here we got? Right, have you got a story for us, Nige, for the good old days? I've got one lined up.
No, I'm not. To be honest, with all my internet problems today and my mum, I ain't had time to really.
No. I've got one from Rodney Marsh. The story, so you might revoke some old memory yourself, but I'll put it on now. I won't bother with the intro we do for that because I can't find it.
Good player, Rodney.
There we go. Here's Rodney Marsh with an old George Best story. So you might like this, Paul.
Yeah.
So Bobby Moore, George, and myself come back from America to Fulham in 1976. Part of the deal was we had to play an exhibition game in Norway. The exhibition game was to pay for George's wages for the year, and he certainly got that and more. But as we go down the road, we're talking, and George was he loved to gamble, he loved a woman, and he loved a drink, and he had a reputation of letting people down, which is not right, because he always tried so hard not to let people down. So we go on this game in Norway. We played the game. It was a fantastic game, big crowd, made loads of money for George and his salary, and afterwards we go down, have something to eat, a little place, a little restaurant, and then somebody suggested, it might have been me, somebody suggested that we go to a club bar close to the hotel. So we did, and had a lovely, great night, fantastic night, and midnight-ish I go back to the hotel. Lads stayed on, some of the lads stayed on, and George later on is staggering his way back. He's worse for wear. He's had too much to drink, and he's staggering his way back to the hotel. Eventually finds his way on his own, gets into the hotel, goes up to the night concierge. I've got to have a wake up. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. I can't let the lads down anymore. Give me a wake up call. We've got an early flight. Give me a wake up call. And the guy said, oh, certainly, Mr. Best, no problem. What time would you like it? He said, you better make it 7:30. He said, it's 20 to 8 now.
Do you know what? Going back to them days, I interviewed Lou Macari a few years ago. It's an evening with Lou in Hanley. Quick story, cut story short. He was at Celtic playing for Jock Stein, and he said you didn't dare go and speak to Jock. He was that frightening, and he asked for a rise, and Jock said, "I can't give you a rise, but you're going for a little car trip tomorrow. I said, get ready." So his chauffeur sort of took him down south, and they'd gone past Carlisle. He's thinking, God, he ain't going to sell me at Carlisle, is he? And he said, we ended up going to Liverpool, and Liverpool wanted to buy me. And it was Bill Shankly at the time. And Liverpool was sort of winning things. They were, the best side at the time, well, one of the best. And he said, I virtually shook hands with Bill Shankly to sign for Liverpool. And as I'm on my way back to the hotel, I got a phone call from Man United, and they wanted to sign me. And he said, even though I thought that I might win more medals with Liverpool, he said the thought of playing with Bobby Charlton, George Best, and Dennis Law, he said that done it for me, and I signed for United. He said Bill Shankly never spoke to me again after that. But yeah, just like the lure of George Best, Bobby Charlton, Dennis Law. Anyway, that was it.
I'm sure after that, Shankly went on record and said he was only going to play him in the reserves anyway. When it signed United, so typical Shankly rebuttal there. Riposte is the word.
Did you ever play against Marsh, Kelly, or was he gone off? No, Rodney Marsh. That was big.
Rodney Marsh. No, because Rodney was around the Tony Curry era, wasn't he? He was another good player. They were both sort of similar players, like they were showstoppers, weren't they? They sort of like put on the performance.
He was Sheffield United, wasn't he?
I love watching Rodney Marsh play. Yeah, Tony Curry. He done Watford and Sheffield United, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a big pub right outside Bramall Lane. We went in. It was right outside the ground. He used to run that. He wasn't there the day we went in there. In fact, we had to leave the pub a bit sharpish. So I won't go into there.
You should do a blog on pubs.
Yeah. Right, let's have a little bit of the old funny-o game, and then we'll get back into some more topics. Let me see if I can find that one. It's down here somewhere. Here we go. Right, there ain't that many clips this week, so just a couple of stills, but it's on topic with the managers getting a unfortunate lamppost in the way there. But it does sums it up, doesn't it? And spotted at Fratton Park recently. See if I can see this one.
Oh, I saw that yesterday.
Knocking out dodgy tracksuits from Trevor Francis, I think. I think that's all I did have another one here somewhere, and I can't seem to find it. No, here's one for the good old days, I guess. This is an Everton fan. I don't know how old he is, but it just shows that passion never leaves you at football. Yeah, I think that was Keane's goal, that late minute screamer. They get the draw against Tottenham. I mean, Sean Dyche has done a good job, hasn't he? You know, they lost to your team yesterday, didn't they? But do you think he's going to stay up, keep him up?
Yeah, I do, yeah. I think looking in the Prem now, I think not just because the result is, I think Leeds are going to get dragged into it. I think Southampton have gone anyway. Leeds will probably get dragged into it. I think with Sean Dyche, they'll have just enough to stay up. So I've always liked him anyway, Dyche, and the way he talks and he's all, you know. I used to do voiceovers for cartoon dogs. He's one of them type of people. You know what you're going to get. You know the style of football, and I think if they were sinking without a trace with it. I mean, I lived on Merseyside now 16 years or so. The pub around the corner where I go and drink, it's mainly Liverpool fans, quite a few Everton ones mixed in there. But I think it'd be a tragedy to see a club like Everton drop. I do. I think the money's been spent badly, hasn't it, over 3 or 4 seasons, and they've chopped and changed managers. It's been bad. But I think they need a Dyche or, dare I say, an Allardyce type to go, right, this is what we're going to do to keep us in the league. And people not that type of thing. I think with what Sean Dyche did at Burnley for all those years, it's fantastic. So I think if he keeps Everton up, it'd be well worth the bring him in. But it's what they do next season, and they're going to stick with him and let him sort of build and mould a team. But I think after Man United spending over the last 6 years, Everton's probably been second in the worst spending that he possibly has. I mean, you look at some of the players that they bought, it's like, I keep going back to United, but they were just bought some absolute dross. I mean, like Fred he's energetic, he's a good, honest player. Apparently, he's a dead humble boy. He's a real sort of church kid and all the rest of it. He can't pass a ball 5 yards, or 5 feet or 5 inches, so that type of thing. I think it's just when big money spent, you have big expectations. And I know from living on Merseyside, Everton fans, they'll accept being a team in the lower half of the table or mid-table team. They remember the days of Howard Kendall and those types of teams, and which I remember growing up watching. So they expect bigger things. So I think he's done an absolutely fantastic job, and I think it'll be tough, but I think they'll get out of it. I think going against the grain of some bit. Well, a lot of people say I think Forest will get out of it. So I think they'll just. There's just something of, I don't know what it is. I can't put it into words. I think they'll get out of it. I think Southampton, Leicester, and Leeds will go.
Leicester are down after watching them yesterday. Some of their defensive mistakes. They haven't got a manager in yet, have they? Have they, Nige? Did they get a replacement in?
I don't know, mate. You know, I'm looking at that table. I'm still seeing Leeds possible going down there. They're not. I mean, they got beat 5-1 by Palace. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
No, seriously.
There's 8 games left. What's that? 21 points.
It's like I said, it only takes 24. One team to put 3 wins together, and they're out of it, aren't they? It's like, and you wouldn't put it past Everton, West Ham finding a form again, and I think Forest will go down. I don't think they'll stay up. I think
it's the better managers, and I think Steve Cooper, they're good at home, Forest, aren't they? But they've got some tough games. There's some tough run-ins for all. There's no easy games, is there? I think West Ham will be all right. It's some proper tough ones.
Mind you looked at the West Ham game the other day. There's some shocking goalkeeping and defending in that side. I mean, God knows what was going through Moyes' head when he stood on that sideline. Because they were awful.
I think when he got going for him, Moyes, he had a few tough seasons with Everton, didn't he? Where they were basically fighting to keep him up, type of thing. And De Rose fighting in that sort of lower half of the table. But I think Leeds, it's weird with Leeds because, I mean, Man United, I can't stand Leeds, but they do play some good football on a day, don't they? They do play some good attacking football as well. But that was a shocker when I saw that today. I couldn't believe
that. Well, first half, they pummeled us. They could have been 2 or 3 up. And one goal always is, isn't it? A goal just before half time. You go in at half time, upbeat Palace, and come out and just absolutely batter them.
Yeah, well, after getting 7-0 at Anfield a few weeks ago, I know exactly how that works. I mean, I wanted to pack up and sell the house and move after that.
What's the heaviest defeat you've been in, Nige?
Heaviest defeat?
Yeah.
We lost 7-3 to Forest in a cup, but that was 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-3. Right. We missed a penalty, and then. Yeah, one of the weirdest matches I played in, which was I was actually happy that we'd lost. Derby played Chelsea at the baseball ground. We was 2-0 down at half time. We got back to 3-2 in front with about 10 minutes to go. They went 3-3. I hit the post. They went 4-3. We hit the crossbar. They went 5-3, 5-4, 6-4. We lost at home 6-4. But you come up afterwards thinking, what a great game that must have been to watch.
Yeah. I was at Liverpool that night when Liverpool battered us 9-0.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday night. And that was just, I think there was 9 different scorers that night. John Aldridge come on to take a penalty as a sub, just to rub salt in the wounds, and because it was his last game at Liverpool. But then Palace bounced back the next week, got a 1-1 draw, and then we've done them in the semi-final. But
yeah.
And I think that was just a blip for United that day, wasn't it? But yeah, it can destroy. I think that could destroy Leeds, that result today.
The thing is, right, that result that Liverpool got against Man U, I mean, Man U could win the Premier League this year. It still wouldn't matter. The Liverpool fans, that result would matter more to them than losing the league to Man United.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think you'll see that ever again.
No, I don't. I think that's what United's problem's been this season when they've lost bad. When they've lost badly. The loss at Man City, the 2 losses at the start of the season, and then. That was absolutely. I mean, I watched the coverage right to the end. I have that masochistic thing, so I was watching what do you call it, Souness and Carragher going in on Neville, and it was a bit embarrassing, to be honest. I think they should be on TV, but I was having a meltdown on Facebook, and I was deleting it all in the morning when I woke up. And it was just the worst thing. And like I say, United could win, potentially going to win the Europa League, win the FA Cup. They end up with 3 trophies, get a top 4 finish, but you've been battered by. Liverpool. I mean, that's unheard of. Even the day when I was a kid, United had good cut runs here and there, and before the Ferguson era, we knew we wasn't going to win the league. I think we started that season was 8-5, 8-6, where I think we won the first 10 games, and there was no TV coverage of it. There was a big dispute with the TV thing. I mean, they're not going to win the league; they're going to fade away. And as a kid, I couldn't understand it. My dad said they're all on that. Brian Robson and all us were all heavy drinkers. I think we had a draw or 2, then a loss, and then they fell away. We were never going to win the league type of thing, and I think just obviously sitting there and watching that they were in the game, United, in up to 40 minutes, 42 minutes, and when I saw it, they conceded shortly after the break, and I just went into meltdown. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And this is what I've sort of had back to before that. Ten Hag will know there's certain players there that down tools, drop their heads. And they can't play in the big games. And Fernandes, to be fair, is coming for a lot of stick.
He wanted to take it off, did he?
Yeah, well, that's what they say, but apparently he wasn't. He was gesturing for something else. Well, that's the official line. But Fernandes has played pretty much every single game this season. Yeah, he's never. And now he's sort of playing in that holding role, playing really well. But in that game, even Luke Shaw's been dead improved this season. I don't think he's a Manchester United player. He's one of the better players this season. He's not a Manchester United player. Fred's not a Manchester United player. Neither's McTominay. You can go right through it, really. Harry Maguire's not a Manchester United player. He's slow.
It's a big rebuilding project he's got to do there, isn't he? Talking about the rivalries, like you said, with Liverpool and with Leeds, and then sadly it was the anniversary of the 2 Leeds fans who died out in Turkey that tragic night, got murdered by that scumbag. So yeah, good God, rest in peace to them 2 guys and all their love to all their family and all that. But it has come up again, isn't it? The chanting and the bad chanting, the Hillsborough, the Munich, Chelsea fans against Liverpool doing the Hillsborough chanting. I know social media, you can't stop that, but at the games,
no place for it in football, is there?
It's just
there's no place. There's no place for that in life. To be honest, you should never mock somebody's loss of,
I know fans are as bad as each other from all clubs. You're going to get a little element, but there's other things they're concentrating in football now, like homophobia, racism, all just causes, obviously. But I think this is even like, this ain't getting the attention it deserves. This should be, people should get bans for doing it. They've got the cameras to see them now. I mean, I don't like seeing them get nicked, but that's just sick. I think they've got to do something, haven't they?
I think the first time I ever picked up on it when I was a kid must have been 84, 85 season. I'm sure United played Watford that first home game of the season at Old Trafford. 1-1 draw. And the United Road, which was close to the away fans at the time, when it used to be in the Stretford, I was singing Shankly, Shankly, 81. I was a kid and didn't understand what it meant, you know what I mean? And then over the years, you pick up on all the Munich stuff, and then Hillsborough happened, of course, absolutely terrible event. And then for people to stand there chanting about things like that, I'm sorry, that's just below the pale, you know what I mean? That's like us living in Merseyside now. I've always felt that. And like I say, they could easily eject people, ban them, take season tickets off them. And I know it happens in the lower leagues. I mean, I'm one of these people, I'm quite guilty of not watching the lower leagues a great deal. And after the Premiership and the Championship, because it's not my sort of sphere of football to watch, but there's all these ancient rivalries there. And although it doesn't hark back to disasters, the vitriolic hatred and things like they say, banter goes to a point, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And after that, it becomes a bit sick.
Yeah, you have to draw a line somewhere. We had this discussion a few weeks ago about, fans pay their money. They've got the right to give players stick if they're not playing well. They've got a right to opinion. What they haven't got a right to is to go over the mark and get personal and take it too far. And that don't give anybody the right to do that. No. And that's a problem with some football fans. They think because they're paying money to see it, they can say what they want to you and call you what they want. And it's just not on. You wouldn't do that in a normal life.
No.
You wouldn't go to an office and start calling someone that because you get sacked.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll change the legislation, because you get like the Chelsea, all the fans think of Chelsea, they call them, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word, the rent, they call them Chelsea rent things, don't they? But I personally don't find that. There's a reason why they're called that from years ago when some of their lads were allegedly caught in bed. It's a bit of a long story, but I'm not going to go into it. I've got some photos.
Don't you know about that?
Yes. Kids don't know, but I know it.
I'll just bring a caption up. And then you got what Tottenham fans call themselves, haven't you? I mean,
oh yeah, of course.
Which is like,
they're not right, or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, they call themselves. Yeah, and then the club was saying, well, we want to start banning people. Well, their firm is called that, you know what I mean? And they chant the songs themselves, you know what I mean? And everyone who knows Tottenham knows it's not a racist club or anything like that. Far from it. If you look at the makeup of their fan base, but they go like, it's in it. I think that's where, say, political correctness and stuff kind of eats itself alive, because you go, no, they refer to themselves as that. Tottenham was always known to have a large Jewish following, and a lot of black kids follow Tottenham as well. It's that multiracial area type of thing. Yeah. So then you've got the black kids saying, well, I mean, type of thing, and then the club go, no, you could be banned. And you go, well, something's got to be sorted out, because like it's eating itself up a little bit. And but yeah, I think there's,
you compare that to, you can't compare any sort of bad thing like, but you can. The chanting of people who've died and been in football tragedies, I just think puts that into a different comparison. And there seems to get more highlight and more focus, but I think they're talking about changing legislation with that. I hate the word hate crimes, and
I think you know what? I think everybody, that Hillsborough thing was such a tragic event. I think everybody knows where they was when that happened. I mean, I was playing for Villa at the time. I was sat in the Villa dressing room after the match when that news was coming through, and we was all, the whole dressing room was just in shock. It was just like listening to what the hell's gone on there. And I think everybody sort of knows when that happened, they could go, yeah, I was in that place when that happened. And it was such a tragic event. And
I think the anniversary's coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah, anybody who starts mocking that, they need shooting, mate.
They do. But on a bit of a lighter note, this was I've just found a funny clip. This was Plymouth fans up in Morecambe Saturday. The old Morecambe. I didn't know this, but it's a known thing to do for away fans. You go and visit the Eric Morecambe statue, and so fair play to Plymouth fans here. They travel well, Plymouth, all over the country, don't they? We put them a lot on our page. So No, fair play on that. Another subject that causes a bit of debate as well was the England women's football team or ladies football. But I know Gary's not the biggest fan. He's not on here tonight, but but I think that was a great. I watched the game. He had everything. Went to penalties, and good luck to him.
I didn't see the game, and I saw the report afterwards. And I'm guilty of not really watching a lot of women's football, but I don't have that much time because I watch obviously a lot of Premier League and stuff, and then I watch like Serie B matches and anything that's kind of on the TV. But when my missus allows, because it's like, well, how many games do you want to watch? Then you start making up tournaments. It's the intergalactic 4th round playoff, semi-final, 9th leg. It's very important, and if you watch I like to try and fit the women's football in as well. But I think my brother-in-law, we always just kind of joke about it. And I say, I think technically the women's football standard's very high. And, to say it's not is obviously it's a different physicality to the game and stuff. But I find it's quite enjoyable to watch. If I've got the time, I will watch games, but I'm sort of restricted to how many I can watch, So, and then it
just should never be. People compare it to that. They would get smashed by. I think this might be your point, Nigel, but they get smashed. They would get smashed by a League One team. But they would. But it's a different game.
What it is like, listen, when they're in the tournaments, we're all wanting the Lionesses to win. Yeah. I wanted them to win. We're all cheering them. What really pees me off is when people start comparing the women's to the men's football. There is no comparison. Yeah. If you want to put the answer, you put the women's team against the men's team on the pitch, and you get your answer for your results on there. So you can't do that, and it really cheeses me up when people start going the women's team are better than the men's team, because you're talking two totally different standards of football and physically that way. So I'm always cheering the women on. I always want the Lionesses to win, but it winds me up when these people start then comparing them to the men's side, and because there are no comparison. Men's football's men's football, women's football's women's football.
Yeah. I think that's the same with a lot of sports, isn't it? I think what gets me at the moment, and it should get coverage, but sometimes like you look on your phone and go, Manchester United have signed such a player, you go, what's, and they're reporting on women's football as if it's at the top of the football tree. Sometimes I think it's this sort of wokeness that's coming to football. So like the was it the Women's Super League it's called? So the report on Sky Sports like as if it was a top of the table clash in the Premier League. We'll go, well, no, it's got its place, and it's not as, I would say it's not as important, but what pays the money in football? It's the men's game, isn't it? And it's the Champions League. It's the other. So, and I think after sometimes when you're looking, I think you look on Sky Sports app now, and then you've got the league tables, you got the Premier League, then you got the Women's Super League thing, then the Championship. And I'm sorry, but no, that should be a bit further down because it's a different sport. It's like a segregated sport.
They're trying to really force it, and I get they're trying to give it exposure, but it's like the women's commentators and on the women's football matches, an all women panel normally you get Ian Wright does a lot, but which is fair. I don't bother me, but it's when they try and force an issue and force something on you, that's when you get people kicking back. We ain't now chauvinists, but it's just like, well, it's a difficult one, but that's a great comment here. The reason Gary ain't on tonight is he's still celebrating the England women's win.
Still somewhere in Belfast.
Yeah. Alex Langley, I think he says, I understand Hillsborough and Munich songs being looked down on, but Chelsea Rent Boys, exclamation mark. Yeah, I agree, mate. Same with always the victims, no fans, more pious than Liverpool. All right. Anyone of my generation hates Liverpool for the way their friendly fans used to welcome away fans. As for Spurs, that's on another planet. Yeah, I mean, people's opinions, isn't it? I guess, but
yeah, I think Liverpool back in the 80s, man, when I was a kid and a teenager, sort of growing up, then you would get a warm welcome if you went to Liverpool. You know what I mean? But to me, Everton was always the place to go. I mean,
that was
I went to that thriller there years ago when United pipped it 3-2 at the end and come back from 2-0 down, and they called it the Battle of Everton Valley for a good reason. You know what I mean? But
yes, I remember that.
You know where you're going, so it's like got a Stoke, isn't it? It's like I hope Millwall. I've been hoping all season Millwall, if not this season or next season, by hook or by crook, if they can get through the playoffs and get promoted to the Premier League. I watch them go all over the country and have to watch people having to go down there. I think that would taking us back to the old school football, because I do respect Millwall as a club. I'm not that season United beat them in the FA Cup final.
Down in Wales, wasn't it, in Cardiff?
Yeah, down in Cardiff. And now they had the semi-final at Old Trafford with Sheffield United, I think it was. And I was working a badge board then. I was selling the swag, any more your badges outside. I think it was Sunderland they played in the.
That's Sunderland, that's right.
And I think we had the match badge with both the teams on in a day. We sold about 5 to the Sunderland fans, and the rest of us sold 500 each to Millwall. And that was one of my best days out ever at football, not even going to a game, because they took about 20,000 to Old Trafford and all down Matt Busby Way and where the shops are at the front. We just had a drink with them all. We had such a good day, and they do also enjoy themselves. And I think we lovely to see them in the Premier League and see a bit of all atmosphere back, you know what I mean? And
I think if you speak a lot of Millwall fans, I don't think they want to. I don't think they're going to like. I don't think they would like. I know they would want to go up, but I don't think they would like that. What the Premiership is for going to games and now.
No, but I think
they do obviously get a bad rep, but they're good people. Millwall, it is a good club. They do a lot of good work as well in the community.
I think
they've got a chance, haven't they?
Their fans will bring something back to the Premier League that's been missing a bit. I think because it all gets a bit sterile, doesn't it? I mean, like Newcastle now. Newcastle is symptomatic. Years ago, when the Geordies were rocking up into Manchester, you knew it was going to be a lively day. You know what I mean? And that type of thing. And even like that the Scousers going away. It's like Man United going away. There's more sophisticated type of fan going away now. I just think it'd be great for football, and I think. Again, harking back to that day I with Millwall, I was thinking how good would this be every week at Old Trafford. That's right, every season at Old Trafford. So I'd love to see it back.
No, I agree, mate. Going to talk a little bit about the National League. Like you sound like you're not really into the lower league football, Paul. But
no, not a great deal. But
I'll talk to myself on this. But what's going on in the National League with Wrexham, Hollywood Wrexham, as we call them? There is, and Notts County. I mean, they took 4,500 Halifax. Wrexham, they lost, didn't they? But that's the league table, both 100 points, which is unbelievable, and they're actually playing each other tomorrow.
Amazing, so,
massive game. And Sean Longstaff, is it? He's got 41 goals, so he's broke the record there. So, fair play to them. And there's some massive teams down there, isn't there? Ex-big teams, but it'd be good to see both of them come up, I guess. But anything to add to that?
Well, I'll just say with Wrexham have got a big setup before this takeover that happened. It's a nice big stadium. I don't know the capacity. I got invited up there years ago by an Everton fan. They played them. They said, "I'll come with us, lad." And then I was still living in Manchester. There was a lad I knew for the tickets and the swag and stuff. And got a warm reception as we walked up to the ground. And I was really impressed by the setup as it was at the time. And then a few years ago, we had a caravan not far away from Wrexham, so we're going to Wrexham Town Centre and everything. But I think it's an amazing story what's happening in the Americans, and I mean to see that there 100 points apiece, that's football, and that's what it should be.
It's unbelievable.
No, you're Wrexham. It's soccer.
Oh yeah, soccer ball.
So there's a lot of games on tomorrow on there. So that's what I was going to say. Why is there only one Premier League game this weekend? Is that because of the World Cup? Surely there was always 2 games over an Easter weekend.
I don't know. Maybe it's just that build up of fixtures, and I think it's been a strange season, hasn't it? The way things have worked out. Obviously after Qatar and the way completely almost destroyed the season. I'm surprised we're seeing the level of football that we're seeing. And stuff, because I thought it'd be so diluted, but it's actually slapped me in the face and proved me wrong. But
no, it has been a good season in all the leagues. It really has. So we're going to wrap up soon. We're coming here full time. I just want to chat about my football defibrillator card that's on all our social media pages. So we're trying to raise money for a football defibrillator to donate to a non-league club or a grassroots club. So this is our third card. We've got about 350 quid now, so we need to get 700 to get one. So if anyone's interested in having a go, it's a £5 a go, and you get to win 125 quid. So a lot of people have got involved with that. So if you want to have a go, just get in touch with us on one of our social media platforms. But there you go. So anything else, you guys? Any other business you want to talk about? Any other football issues for the last couple of minutes?
No, just I think it's funny as it's so. I like Man City. Paul won't like that, but I think that with Liverpool today, I think that's probably sealed it for Arsenal.
Do you think you wasn't on earlier, Gary, when we were talking about it, but that the game in hand Man City got that'll take them 3 points behind them if they win it, and then they've got to play, haven't they? In April.
Yeah, they got to play each other.
Yeah, Man City.
Right. That's going to be a big one.
2 weeks. Yeah. So, and then
but I mean, you're looking at Liverpool. I mean, is Klopp going to come under pressure at any point? I mean, he's having a nightmare season. Any other club, he'd have been sacked.
Yeah, I think with Klopp, I think he'll go if he wants to go. I think what happened was, that midfield clearly needed upgrading and updated because you ran him into the ground, didn't he? That game pressing football he's played and stuff. And he must have known that, and he mustn't have been given the backing from the board because he would have said, I need to reinforce that midfield. And what's happened there is that sort of midfield and the front three will work so hard, all that pressing. The defence really didn't have a great deal to do in a lot of games. And what's happened is now their back four is exposed with an average performing midfield in front of it, like kind of what United's had for 4 or 5 seasons. And then you realise how good the defenders are. I mean, you say at one time Virgil van Dijk was the best ever Premier League defender. He's not even the best ever Dutch Premier League defender. Put Jaap Stab above him. That's not pure ignorance, I think.
That's bias.
Well, even in an era when Man United were doing well, United just come under a tremendous amount of pressure in games. They were playing against fantastic teams. And I think when it's happened with Liverpool's back four, it's like that Trent Alexander-Arnold can't defend him, can he? He's great going forward. It's like a winger almost. Fantastic play, but got at the back not too well. Kanate still young, so he's got time to improve. Van Dijk's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I think what's happened is that the midfielder's age, it's become a bit knackered, a bit tired, and then what's happened? They've just been exposed because Salah is still a fantastic player. Nunez, I think, will come really good for him.
He's having a bit of
I think they should have broke the bank to keep Mane. Yeah. Mane leaving them, he was a big part of this. So we said that at the start of the season that they don't seem the same without him, and they should have broke the bank to keep him.
Jude Bellingham will make a massive to any team he goes to. Will be Liverpool's a talk, but he could go anywhere he wants, can't he?
I think he goes City.
Do you think so?
Haaland, Guardiola.
Yeah.
I mean, Guardiola's the best coach in probably the world at the moment. I think so. Anyway. And Haaland's just like
he's over someone's designed. He's over it.
He's like someone's designed him on a computer, and there's nothing wrong about him.
He's in Rocky 6. He's like one of them robot boxers, isn't he?
He's like the Terminator, isn't he? And he's that good. I think Liverpool, unless they see the big backing coming in there, I can't see Bellingham going there. He was all geared up for it. I think if the big takeover happens at United, that'd be interesting because then they're not going to pump loads of money in, but they can basically spend the entire profit the club makes on players. I don't see us landing Bellingham. I think we're 2 or 3 seasons off from.
I think even Madrid or Barcelona, well, not Barcelona maybe, but even they're looking at him. He's who's the other player?
I think a lot of it would depend on obviously when he goes with the England squad, you'll get your little groups of players that really get on with each other and sort of like have an understanding. I think that'll probably play a lot on his mind, but. Like when I played for England, I've had a good relationship, I have a good understanding with them players. So it'll depend on what clubs they're at, I suppose.
Did you used to talk on that England duty lines about what money you're on and all that, or was it not a question you would ask?
Do you know what? When I was in the under-21s, it was the biggest tap-up.
Was it?
It was the biggest tap-up of players you ever got. That was when the managers used to say to so-and-so, I don't know, Steve Hodge, if he was rooming with me, have a word with Callie, see if he fancy coming to our club. And I was actually rooming with Steve McMahon, and he said, Callie, I'm expecting a phone call from Doug Ellis tonight. When I get it, can you give me a bit of privacy? And I think he was Everton at the time? I don't know, Liverpool. Yeah. So they were tapping him up while he was in there, at the Euros, under-21s. It all goes on the internationals.
Yeah, I'll get it.
You can guarantee all the players will be going, come on, Jude, we got this, we got that.
I'll get it when I'm train driving. Get other captains tapping me up all the
time. Do you want to go on the underground or the overground?
I'll just say as well, my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, their boyfriend plays for Liverpool's under-23s, James Norris, and so I always get the inside track on the young players that are playing for United. I go, is he any good? Is he any good? Yeah. And he was saying about Jude Bellingham. I don't know if he's played against him or not, but he said he's different gravy because there was this talk: will it be another Sancho going back to him? And then he's not really done it yet. Sancho has he? Whether he ever will, but I think Bellingham's a
Birmingham City retired his shirt, didn't they? They thought that much of him. But his brother's meant to be pretty good, isn't he? His younger brother.
He's got an engine on him, hasn't he? Birmingham, he's got an engine in him.
And he's a nice kid, by all accounts. He comes, he's a friend of mine knows his parents from up in Birmingham somehow. He said they're just a proper family, really respectful.
No pressure on his brother now, is there?
No. Right, I think we've reached full time, fellas. It's flown by, that is.
Yep.
But really appreciate you coming on, Paul. Definitely have you back on, mate. And you can check out Paul on his Clobber magazine website online. I can get the big details now. So that is Clobber magazine. It says www.clobbermag.com.
Yep.
And Callie, are you on Mixcloud tonight, or your internet still?
I don't know. If the internet's down, I won't be on. But I mean, I can't believe I've just got on the phone, to be honest.
Yeah. So let me see if I can find your. No, I can't find it. But yeah. Anyway, look out for Callie on his Mixcloud DJ. Here we go. No, that's mine. Hang on. There it is. So,
I referred to him as Nigel before us have known you, but I do apologise for that, Callie. So I feel like I know you now, but.
But yeah, thanks for joining us, fellas, and thanks for coming on your phone nights. It was a big help, mate.
Yeah, good meeting you, Paul.
Yeah, likewise.
Good meeting you, mate.
Very much.
And thanks for everyone for tuning in. So we'll be back next week. I'm not sure what the time will be. I think Gary's back next week. So everyone a good week.
We'll all get a word in edgeways then, won't we?
No worries.
All right, lads. Thanks a lot, and see you all next week. Everyone have a lovely Easter Monday.
See you later.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
The Proper Football Live Show, Sundays at 6 p.m. for your football fix on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and PF Radio. Check out our website at properfootball.co.uk.